Hi Libra, happy birthday as we're wrapping up your season here, and welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your mid-October 2022 love reading. Thanks to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and gap spread. And the way it works is a look at the past energies, present energies, and future energies between you and your main love interest. Once we get through all that, we'll pull some oracle cards as well for some additional insight, and that's where the bridge and the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side we have the Romantic Tarot. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like it's the other way around in your situation, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have a few cards that came up. We have the Nine of Arrows, the Princess of Staves, and Temptation. So this is actually the equivalent of the Devil in traditional tarot. And seeing the Nine of Arrows with the Princess of Staves could just be saying that on the one hand you might have been feeling a pull to communicate to this person, maybe express your feelings to them. So for example, we see like an angel type figure in the background there, right? It looks like they're extending that arrow to her, which to me represents the communication. And we see all the other arrows that point in this direction as well. But for whatever reason, you might have actually found yourself really stressed out at the prospect of doing so. And rather than do that, I feel like you guys might have actually ran away from the connection and ended up in another situation. There's plenty of reasons why it could happen, but this definitely sounds very much like a retrograde theme, right? And you guys, of course, had the Mercury retrograde that started in your sign, went to your 12th house, so could have been a tough one there, but that's what I'm seeing with that. All right. Past energy on their side, we have the Six of Cups and the Two of Swords. So this is actually a Libra energy here, and then with the Scorpio energy, with the Six of Cups, I feel like this is saying that, so yeah, the more I'm looking at this, it looks like you guys probably were together in the past and then went through a breakup. But what I see here with the Six of Cups energy represents an energy of reconciliation, right? So it looks like this person's out with their friends, and maybe in the process of going out with them, they started to think about you and possibly wanted to reach out. But I feel like for the majority of you, they didn't actually physically reach out. So looks like in the past, there definitely was a lack of communication between the two of you. All right, resonant energy on your side, we have the Seven of Arrows. So this is Aquarius energy here, and of course, usually this points to an energy of deception, but I always point out that with this deck in particular, if you look at her facial expression, she doesn't look too happy, right? So, and we see she's holding 5 arrows, so I'd just be saying that maybe there's an unhealed wound that you aren't addressing, right? So for some of you, maybe you're getting involved in other casual connections, right? Because we did see the temptation energy, so maybe you're just getting involved in these casual connections that aren't really connecting with you, but you just find yourself stuck in that cycle for whatever reason. So you might leave those connections disappointed, but at the same time, you might still feel that pull to continue those types of connections. All right, present energy on their side, we have the Page of Cups. So yeah, at the very least, it looks like they might be considering taking action toward you and expressing feelings. Now with the Page energies, while there's usually an element of sincerity there, it's not necessarily the most organized and grand offer either, you know? So it could just be one of those things where they might come forward. I mean, if you look at the way they're dressed as well, right, it might be one of those things where even if they do come forward, you might not take it seriously for whatever reason. Right, and future energy on your side, we have Wisdom, which is the equivalent of the High Priestess, and the Ten of Cups. So, seeing these two energies here, I feel like this is saying that for some of you might actually come to a realization that you actually do see this person as an ideal connection for you, right? That you see a potential for that growth between the two of you. But with the High Priestess energy, or Wisdom as it's called in this deck, I'm not necessarily sure I see you coming forward to communicate that to this person. If we even look at the artwork in this deck, right, we see she's sitting there with a book in her lap, and we see the other figure with a sword in the background, which of course represents communication, but they're not even looking at each other, right? So it'll just be one of those things where you might have those thoughts, like if we look at the book there, but you might not be expressing them to this person, even though you do have the access to communicate to them, I feel. All right, and future energy on their side, we have the Two of Wands. So this is an Aries energy here, and it could just be saying that for some of you, this person, their friends might be nudging them toward putting themselves back out there, basically. That's primarily what I'm seeing with this. So for some of you, it can be them actually wanting to take a chance toward disconnection again, but I'm not necessarily feeling that that's as likely, given that the person looks like they're pinning that on is pointed away from the cards in his side. So definitely some interesting energies here for sure. But bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Eight of Coins. So this is Virgo energy here. Usually you could point to an entrepreneur type energy and also self-improvement too. So given that this is 12th house energy for you guys, maybe some of you have come to the realization, right, that maybe you do have some kind of a toxic cycle with that temptation energy that we saw in the past position that does seem to keep you in a cycle of sabotaging things. So it could just be saying that you might be working on it at this time. Beneath that, we do see the Nine of Cups too. So if that is the case and you are working on that, it looks like it will actually work out well for you. And the bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Fool. So it could just be saying that in general, this person might just have a bit of a lighter, naive energy to them. But another way I could see this too, again, of course, could also be saying that this could be pointing to their desire for something new, right? And beneath that, we also see the Chariot. So yeah, it looks like this person definitely could be moving towards something new. Now, like I said, for some of you, it could be saying that they will put an effort toward the connection with you, given that we do see the Ten of Cups in the future position on your side. But given that it doesn't necessarily look like you're communicating those feelings, it's a bit of a 50-50. Now, to be fair, if it's maybe when they do come forward with this offer, right? So if we're looking at the timeline a little bit differently here, so let's say this moment comes after the Seven of Arrows energy, and this is your reaction to that, then I could see it being a little more likely that the two of you could work things out. But we'll see what the Oracle cards add to the mix. First, we'll see what we get from the Moonlight deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording. And what I'm going to be looking for here is unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while without anything coming up, I actually just put the deck down on full cards that way, and we'll see what comes up. Alright, and got two there that don't want to go back in the deck, and then we'll see what we get from them to you. Alright, and two on their side as well. Alright, so let's see what we got. On their side first, we have Risk. It says, I'm ready to take a leap of faith and risk it all for you. Okay, so for some of you, that could actually be you coming forward and expressing your feelings toward them in the future. Like I said, with that High Priestess, I wasn't too sure if that'd be the case. And the other card we have is Why. It says, I don't know what has happened between us. If you're confused, I'm confused too. Well, I mean, it seems like maybe in the past there's a slight chance that could have been the case, right? Where especially if this was the temptation energy is just a toxic cycle you guys might feel yourself in, where you don't even feel like you're consciously making those decisions, but you just might find yourself getting pulled away from situations once they start to get a little deeper. That's certainly a possibility, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that resonated with you guys, and then we'll see what we got on their side now. Okay, we have Mask. It says, honestly, I pretend to be someone I'm not because being vulnerable feels uncomfortable. Interesting message there, right? Because I was saying with the Six of Cups, they might have had that desire to reach out to you, but maybe I feel like for the majority of you, they didn't actually go through with it. And then I was mentioning with the page energy in the present that they might come forward, but you might not necessarily take them seriously, right? So maybe they struggle a little bit expressing their feelings. And then we have ego, all right? It says, it's easier to block everything out right now. I'd rather ignore my emotions. So yeah, interesting message there. I could definitely see how that message could have fit in the past, right? Because like I said, it looks like they might have gone out, let's say, with friends, and then they were thinking about you, but rather than express that, I feel like they, probably didn't reach out for the majority of you. So definitely a lot of layers to this connection for sure. But we'll see what we get from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Same situation as far as I pre-shuffled this deck as well. But here we're just looking for one card with a general message to wrap the reading up. All right, and that doesn't want to go back in the deck, so let's see what you got. All right, we have Loyal Heart. There we go. And there's the artwork, and the number is 35. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, the relationship message says your partnerships, friendships, and romantic relationships all have many qualities in common right now. Honest devotion, faithfulness, and a loyal heart are being shown to you. Are you as loyal in return? Now is the time for heartfelt commitments and trusting in divine protection. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there. Because like I said, it certainly doesn't look like you guys are in the best situation at this moment. But seeing that Ten of Cups there in the future, there is some potential. Like I said, for some of you, this could represent them wanting to fresh start with you. But I will have to say that it feels like for some of you, it could also be them just wanting a fresh start elsewhere. But hopefully, you guys can work that out. We'll wrap up there. I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.